Hey, everybody, this is Dr. J, Professor Spike and Kamal, talking stocks, and we're doing that prior to the show beginning.
Yep.
And we're just chatting about the Fed, about the war in Russia, about Russia possibly closing the Bering Strait and the impact it could have on the price of commodities, wheat and grains and so on. We were talking about a lot of stuff, what the Fed is going to do tomorrow. What is the Fed going to do tomorrow? One other thing, I like when we have a down day before the Fed meeting as opposed to an up day, because it always seems to work in reverse. When we have a strong up day, we get killed on the Fed Wednesday. And when we have a
I
bad
think we're gonna get killed nonetheless.
we have a bad
Either way.
Tuesday, we get rewarded by Fed speak. It seems to be that way. Maybe it's just from my memory, selective memory. I don't know. But that's how it seems to be. Kind of like that with earnings as well. When the company has a terrible down day, they have good earnings. The other way around.
It feels like every news, whether it's good or bad, is interpreted in a bad way.
I guess
Well,
lately.
it's sort of, this whole idea that good news for the economy is bad news for the Fed, and that makes it bad news for the stock market, as if the stock market and the
So good.
market and the
So
regular
good.
market
Good,
are negatively
good.
correlated. It's
When
not.
the stocks report good earnings, that's bad. Then they go down. But when
And
they
up is
report
down and down is
bad
up.
earnings, that's good. Like AMD had bad earnings. It's up today after hours. Last I looked.
Well, I guess anything goes.
So, in other words, the world is upside down. We flipped our axes. We flipped on the axes. The North Pole and the South Pole are now opposite or something.
Right. The
Everything is backwards. Good is bad. Bad is good. How about evil and goodness? Is that backwards too?
Well, it depends how you're
some
looking
people
at
are
it.
gonna say hello. I'm doing my radio show. How's it going? Hello, everybody.
Bye, everybody. Hello.
Very for intruding, just saying hello to Steve. Cheer for me someday. Put the I'm freaking out.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Okay, say hi to everyone.
See, this is.
Is that one of your harem, Professor Spike?
Oh, come on, you know who that is. That's what. That's
I know who it is.
yes.
Hey, Mark is with us. athx is looking better. BioDrek is looking better. Small cap is beating the middle cap, large cap. It's beating the Dow. It's beating the S&P today. Anyway, had a nice day. And everybody's talking small cap is going to lead us out. Small cap. So maybe the money that's coming out of Amazon and Meta and all these big names are going to move into the smaller names. I don't know. Small cap cyclicals. Psst, I got a tip for you. Small cap cyclicals.
Yes, well, I don't know. I guess I'm still a little bearish of the general market. I mean, I'm still on the IWMs. I think they're gonna do all right.
Well, yeah, the IWMs is what people are whispering. IWM, you're in what everyone on Wall Street is starting to whisper. IWM.
Yeah, right. Well, and also they're saying value again.
Value,
They were going to value.
cyclicals.
Well, we'll see what happens. I mean, they're still, despite all of this, they're still looking for.
They like small cap financials. They like small cap energy. They like small cap cyclicals. Whatever that means. What goes around is cyclical. What's cyclical?
So, what did we ever hear anything about the company that Johnson and Johnson just bought?
No,
A bio something or other?
haven't heard much.
A Abiomed, whatever. Yeah, we hadn't really discussed that in any kind of way.
Yeah,
So that came out of nowhere.
there's a lot of bios shooting up.
So yeah, what I'm thinking is there might be a little bit more M&A in the bio space.
Yeah, maybe. Geron shot up over the course of the last 6 months. athx over the course of the last couple of months. Bunch of them.
Mark was saying.
Not bcrx, though. That's struggling.
Not fast enough, anyway.
What happened after earnings? John Stonehouse put the kibosh on PNH drug. He said it has a skinnier range of what it could treat.
Wow.
But there's another compound being developed. Not to worry. Another one that'll take another 2 years or 3 years or 5 years.
Fine. They'll keep us waiting. And
I
that was
thought
actually.
we're gonna be.
I was actually
I
thinking
thought bcrx is gonna hit 18 this by end of year.
Yeah, but I didn't expect a negative report after earnings in the third quarter.
Right.
It's still May. If the stocks in general get hot, that'll go up. It'll all this bad news or not so great news will be forgotten. It's not terrible. The main drug for HAE is pretty much on target. I think it missed by $1 million in revenues, or they're taking it down by $1 million for the year. Nothing serious. I think they actually beat expectations for earnings. This quarter, I think their earnings were negative 23 cents, and the expectations were negative 28 cents.
Mm-hmm.
And also the good news is they have a lot of cash on hand. I forgot how many million, but a lot. So they don't need to do a raise. With a bad flu season, they'll be selling Paramavir, one of their drugs. I don't know. I'm not wildly enthusiastic, but I think 18 is doable on bcrx. I still think that. So we want to look at some charts?
Might as
Yes, I have a question. Why BCS stopped where it stopped today, like at the lowest point at 11:15?
Well, I'm glad it came back.
Yeah, it did.
I don't
But
know
it
why it
reached-
opened so low.
It reached 11:15.
Yeah, I should have grabbed some. I didn't sell any, but I should have grabbed some. There's only so much you can buy, you know.
Exactly.
Even I run out of not money, but I run out of the willpower to do it. By the way, remember before I go into the stocks, remember I talked last week about doing an 18 football parlay for Sunday?
Yes.
Guess how many of the 8 I won?
6.
Yeah, and remember I said I'm going to do a 16 round robin? So I won $100, but my bet was something like $56 or something like that on the round robin. So I like doubled my money or something like that. But the two teams that I lost were the Jets and the Giants. And the Giants were playing Sunday night, so I was trying to root them in. If they would have won, I would have won seven times what I won. I would have won $700 because I would have gotten 7 sixes. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Out of seven, choose 6. So
right. So you did the whole thing. Right.
Yeah, I did the round robin for 6, only for 6, not for 7 or 5 or 4, just for 6. All right. If we have time, we'll look at V-Ray again. Okay. And Mark says CYBN is near bottom. We'll take a look at that. All right. So let's take a look at some requests. AMD we should talk about because it's interesting. Look at this, Professor Spike, up 25.25% today on the Russell. Everything else down 0.5%, 1/4%, and NASDAQ down 0.9%. And this is up. So maybe it's happening. Finally, your IWM is going to...
A broader market.
Yeah, it's going to pay off.
A broader market uptick. I know, but I'm deeply invested in your blue chips.
This is one that I own a lot of. MicroStrategies, adjusted earnings.
Oh, right, MicroStrategies.
I got a beat. Maybe it'll good. Maybe it'll make some money for me.
Yeah, right.
For a change. I'm almost even with that one because I kept buying. I kept buying as it went down. So I'm
Yeah, 'cause
nearly even on that.
coin is still horrible. AAB isn't AABB is not doing so great.
Yeah, yeah. AMD, where are you? Probably Actors. I don't know where it is. I'll have to put it in. MicroStrategy's adjusted earnings beat forecast with Bitcoin holdings little change. All right, good headline. First, let's do AMD before we do anything else. Then we should look at bcrx and try to look at V-Ray and the one Mark mentioned.
I did.
So after hours were up a pretty good 4%. When they first got the news of the miss, I think it was actually down at the beginning for the first little bit of first 5 minutes. We're starting a distinct uptrend on AMD. Maybe it's time to think seriously about these beaten down semiconductors. AMD, NVIDIA, Micron, to name a few. This is showing a very nice little channel over the last 2 weeks. I like it. I like the fact that it beat, it missed and it went up anyway after hours. And it finished the day well today. I like AMD. I think it's coming back. First target would be this gap, close the gap from 10.6. That would be the first target. 67.85. That's very doable, right? 25 more points. Good target. I like that as a target. That could happen. If it just continues going at the rate it's going, it'll happen by the end, before the end of the year. Before December, 11/28.
Even in right.
Just the rate it's going. And that looks like a very nice target because by then it'll be pretty much the same as a 50 moving average. So you'll have two reasons, the gap close and the 50. So definitely this number makes a lot of sense. 67.85. I like that number. Another 5 points from the after hours number. 6 points. Another 10% up looks very likely by the end of November. And I think we're going to have a good November. I think maybe a little choppy into the election. Get the Fed out of the way, get the CPI report out of the way, and then up and away, especially if we get a good CPI report.
Right.
I agree. I noticed that end of month and beginning of month, the market is often down, like the last day of the month and the first day of the month.
Yeah, especially when you're in a bear market environment.
Yeah.
Definitely, it's the opposite way when it's a bull market, and you're usually off to a good start. MicroStrategy after hours, stop a little. Let's see. This is a clear target right up here. 361. That's a nice target. More modest target would be the 200-day, which is trading at 304.89. That would put me pretty much even if it gets back there. Let me draw in a couple of these targets on AMD. Not AMD, on MSTR.
MicroStrategies.
And the 200. The 200 is 304, and then the next target is 364. So with the break of the 200, I think you could see it add on another 20%. This is a very explosive stock, as you can tell, looking at the chart. So it rallied from a low back here in June of 22, it hit 143. Now we're at 260. Give you an idea. Very explosive. And that's not even the high that it made. The high it made was in August of 361. When it moves, and it looks like it's beginning to. Let's take a look at bcrx, which is one of our big holdings, all three of us. I didn't listen to the conference call. Did any of you guys?
No.
Yeah. Well, I think it got back up to close to this key level of 1203, but it closed below it. Got close to it at least. I don't like it closing below it. This is certainly a key level. It's close, right? At least part of the candle is above it, the body of the candle. It's not a disaster. A complete break of the 1203, and I think we could retest these lows. I don't want to see that happen. But the lows up down here would be next in line at 1051.
Wow.
If we don't hold this $12 area.
I mean, it went down a lot today, but it kind of recovered by
It
end of
sure
day,
did. It was very low.
which is good.
It was 11.15.
I mean, that's a vote of confidence. People are holding to their shares.
Yeah. But actually, you're wrong about the open. The open was 12.15. It quickly got down to 11.15, but not at the open. You had implied it was 11.15 at the open.
No, it kind of went down and back up.
Yeah, it went down quickly in the morning. Spent the rest of the day gaining lost ground, reclaiming lost ground. All right, so bcrx, it's not that ugly, and in the worst case, I think $10.56 holds in the worst case. And let's look at some of the interesting ones that have been popping. Geron's been popping, not today, but it's come a long way from its lows. And for some reason, I keep losing the mouse on this.
That was what that noise was.
Oh, is that what it was?
Yeah. So you have to jiggle in your USB.
All right, I'll jiggle the wire. We need Jiggly for that.
You need jiggy for chicken.
Jigglypuff. I think he should shorten his name to just Jiggly, What does he need the puff for? I gotta ask him, why the puff? Jiggly is good enough. All right, so I got a bunch of wires here. Which one? I'll jiggle them all. Because I don't know which one to jiggle. Yeah, that one, right?
Probably.
Yeah. Let's see
All
now.
right, so Skyline's actually got a prognostication. He says he thinks the Fed will raise interest rates by 50 only.
Who said that?
One of our audience.
I don't think that's the case. I think they do 75.
So they're either going to do 50 and sound stern, or they're going to do 75 and sound not stern.
That's what they'll do. 75 and sound dovish. They're front loading. They said they're front loading, didn't they say?
Well, I don't know. I guess that's the way to go.
They're going to do 75, and then they'll say they'll probably do 50 in December and pause, and the market will go crazy. They're going to hint it strongly at a pause in December. Now, if they would only take their foot off the pedal on buying mortgages and what are they doing? They're selling. There's quantitative tightening means they're selling, right? They're
Right.
selling mortgages. They're selling bonds. They're selling everything. And that takes liquidity out of the marketplace, right? Is that how it works?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. In other words, QT as opposed to QE. They got to stop that QT, change the T into an E.
Well, just quantitative nothing.
So why is it that good news for a stock could imply good news for the economy, which is bad news for the Fed, which is bad news for stocks?
Yes, we're
It's
we're
very
we're at a time of a lot of sensitivity.
But isn't that kind of illogical? If good news for stocks is bad news for the Fed, which is it was rather good news for stocks, good news for the economy, bad news for the Fed, which is bad news for stocks. So good news is bad news.
Right.
Have I got it right?
Yes.
Okay, because it doesn't make too much sense. But all right. Because how could bad news be good news or good news be bad news? I guess bad news for stocks is good news for the bad news for the economy is good news for the Fed is good news for stocks. So bad news is good news and good news is bad news. Is that more or less how it goes?
I lost you like 2 minutes ago.
Yes.
I lost me like 10 minutes ago.
The answer is yes. That's exactly it.
Who could say three smart fellows?
Volatility. We're in a
felt-
very volatile place.
It's the same thing. So Geron is pulled back a little, but this pivot point holds at 204, and if this holds, this pivot has to hold. This pivot holds. I think Geron, you can see it. I think it's more likely that it actually holds and starts retesting the $3 level. So this might be a good little biotech to be in. Of course, our opinions are what? Strictly our own, not investment advice, and certainly not that. And everyone should do their own due diligence and check with an advisor before acting, and subscribe to the show if they haven't already, and tell their friends about us. And what else? Am I forgetting anything?
Nope.
Okay, good. What's another good bio to look at? Athx? Jiggly's favorite.
Yes. Athx has had something to say today.
Jiggly's favorite. Down after being up, down and after hours after being up slightly on the day. I don't know what that's all about, but probably nothing. Oftentimes with these little bios.
Now, is there anything left for this company anyway?
Yeah, you're still waiting on Masters 2 results from phase 3. And when that comes in, it'll be either it'll be an A bomb or it'll be a stink bomb. One or the other.
I lost tons of money on that one.
I lost tons of. You lost
I
less.
know. Whatever happened to COVID odds?
Sense. I'm back in this. I bought in at
I never left.
$1.50, $1.70.
I'm still on my at this
What's
one.
that? Spike is a holder.
Yes.
He holds.
I hold.
Spike falls in love with these stocks.
Well, I just gamble on them, and if I lose, I lose.
It's one way.
I'm not going to bail on it because it's worthless now.
It's not worthless.
Well, I'm not going to. For what I have left.
It has great potential. It could easily come up to $20. Easily.
Maybe by the time I retire, some of these stocks will actually be something.
Well, if it goes up 10 times, pre-split $20 would be.
I'll break even.
$25 would be $1. That's still not encouraging.
No, I still won't break even. Now, this was a $3 stock for me for the longest time.
Maybe you got to buy a little bit more, lose a little bit more on this one. Average down.
No, I'm not throwing good money after bad on these.
All right, fine.
So the solid stocks like Amazon and Google and Apple are all down today as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's look at V-Ray, which apparently is awaiting earnings or something after the bell. If they got the earnings, I guess it's okay. It's up a little, and it's been continuing to rally. We looked at it last week, and we said it looked good. And I
Is that
think
a cup and handle?
I don't know about a cup and handle, but it certainly has a great chart. At this point, maybe once there was a cup and handle back here. I don't know.
Oh, 1 sec.
But at this point, it's just straight up.
And
Yes.
It's straight up.
It's 2 more minutes.
Steve,
All right, gentlemen, I'm going to leave early because I have an important guest. Now come here.
Sure, go ahead, Professor. Adios. And we want to look at Mark's stock. What was that, Kamal? Do you remember?
CYBN.
CYDN. CYDN. So V-Ray looks good.
Yeah,
Now let's
it does.
look at CYDN. And how much further it rallies, I have no idea, but you know, it's doing good. It doesn't look like there's reason to bail. You could take a little off, I guess, if you want. It's CYDN?
CYB as in boy.
Oh, B. CYB is in boy. So Mark thinks it's bottoming. Certainly does look like it's bottoming. I've been bottoming for a while on this one, right? Made a low back here at around 39 cents. And we're approaching that low. But it does seem to be bottoming. This was a bottom over here at 45 cents. It's got some bottoming action. And aside from that, it also looks like it's got a lot of resistance up here. A lot of resistance at about the 65 cent level. So it might be worth a play. 45 looking for 65, out at 35. 45 looking for 65, out at 35. 2-to-1 shot. Interesting. Not a bad up. Not bad if you want to play that. Probably better bet than my 18 parlay was that I did on Sunday. Even though I did hit it 6 out of 8. Not bad. All right. So anyway, any other suggestions for us? Or is that it?
No, that's it.
All right. So we did good. So I'm glad that we saw Paul and Mark and Skyline. Fed. What does Skyline think about tomorrow? Federal Reserve will raise interest rate by 50, but we need to have some good news by telling us more questions. I think that's overly optimistic. What do you think, Kamal?
I think it's doable. I think it's time for some good news, just to make people feel at ease a little bit.
Paul said he thinks V-Ray could break out to $8. Could. I wouldn't doubt it. So this has been Professor Spike, Kamal, and Dr. J, streaming live from Long Island, saying good night. Have a fun trading day tomorrow, profitable one. Let's go Fed, FED, all the way. Ciao.
Take care. Bye.
Bye-bye.